What a weekend, folks. Major washouts on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance has lost some serious ground. We're going to be taking a look at this and what it means for altcoins, but we see another battle going to the front lines right now between Chainlink and XRP, as both of these behemoth projects are trying to posture and position themselves to be accepted, and not just accepted, absorbed into the current ecosystem of money as we know it. We're going to be taking a look at a major announcement between MasterCard, Gemini, and XRP. What the hell's going on with that? And also Chainlink, and one of the biggest banks out there, ready to go live. A lot to cover here on the show today, plus the cultural things. We have the National Guard postured to enter into many American cities, not just in what we've seen so far, potentially even Georgia, right? We've seen Washington, D.C., then Chicago, but this seems to be kind of a spreading ecosystem, should I say, of National Guardsmen being deployed by Trump. So we're going to be taking a look at that and the whole reason why Bitcoin is rolling out as we look at Wall Street earnings expectations and where the markets are going. So good morning, one. Good morning, all. We got a lively chat up in here. XRP is trash. XRP is the biggest scam. Link over XRP. XRP's beanie baby. Well, yeah, okay. So we got some pretty smart people in here, but honestly, you know, XRP, it's got some things going for it that we got to acknowledge when we're comparing price action and all of this bullish news. Where does it land these projects? Man, it is a crazy day. A beautiful Monday too. A beautiful Monday. Got set up slightly in the new location, new studio location, and I'm having a lot of fun. They have a delicious barbecue place right down the road from me, and I'm absolutely I'm living the dream here. So good morning to one. Good morning to all. Let's get into it. If you aren't already, please go ahead and give me a follow here on X at Druth Crypto. I am indeed live with this show coming to you live on X as well as YouTube. You have to make sure that you're following us on the YouTubes, folks. We work hard for you every single day to bring that crypto content before the rest of the whole market releases their fancy logos. We come to you with the information so that we can make the best trading decisions possible. And if you missed this morning's trade that I put in on Ethereum, man, we crushed it. Absolutely disgusting. Make sure to click the link if you're interested in joining our Discover Investments Group Discord and getting in on that trading group. This weekend brought absolute chaos, bedlam, and dismay, folks. We had a crash. I was moving my monitors and computers over, hanging out with Kelly right here. And, you know, I thank God stayed out of the market. I opened my phone and boy, howdy, we crashed in the span of 15 minutes. We crashed by 3.5%, falling from 114,700 all the way down to 110,550. Now, with this crash, you know, I was looking at where to long this thing, but I didn't want to long Bitcoin. The reason why is I'm actually seeing a big shift, something that we've been wanting to see if you were holding altcoins for quite some time. I am seeing a substantial pullback and honestly, the beginnings of a cliff being built out on Bitcoin dominance right now. We fell down to 57.5% this weekend, a very sharp crash. We don't see these that often. Bitcoin dominance likely going to fight and try to find support in this range, though we are not out of the woods yet. But I just feel like trading ETH or altcoins now. I mean, usually I'm in the Bitcoin and in the general flow for Bitcoin. Look at that. I got a mini fridge right next to me. Look at that. You got the door. Ooh. This is getting good. I really like trading Bitcoin, but we're in a moment right now seeing Bitcoin dominance pulling back to this degree. I am starting to look for those gigapumps on alts. Though the landscape doesn't look so great right now, right? Though the landscape is red, these alts a few months ago, if they would have seen that 3.5% pullback I just showed you this weekend on Bitcoin, we would be talking about much lower numbers. Now, Great trade this morning. Put my stop loss in 20% profit. So even with the wick out, feeling great on the entire trading portfolio. Don't feel bad if you're making a 20% trade on the whole bag. You won. Be happy with yourself. Drew, you made it. That's right. That effing guy. I made it, man. I made it. I'm not sad about 20% gains. Getting greedy, getting the short-sighted outlook like, man, I want this entry point at, say, 110 to get me all the way back up to 125. That's what gets people more often than not. It's about the process of getting in and understanding the ebb and flow. Honestly, we are not looking horribly strong on Bitcoin. Looking at this on the 15-minute candles, we got to back up a little bit to see what we're dealing with here, because that was quite a sharp drawdown. And essentially, we've just found ourselves back in this downward trend line. Now we are hitting up against some very, very historic levels, some areas of importance on Bitcoin that are worth noting here. This support proving point at 111.9, which we recently jackknifed through. And now we're starting to see if this original pump to moment at 110.9 is going to be where we can actually hold up. Now, in terms of price, if you look at where we came down to about 110.5, that is well within and essentially tapping these old, kind of new highs that we had experienced in May and June. And these were 2 points. I told everyone we were not out of the woodwork yet when we were pumping back up. That's great, but we were not out of the woodwork. Be careful about retesting those zones. That's exactly what we did. And with that, we get wonderful drawings. The ghost month has arrived for BTC, right? They're talking about the ghost month for Bitcoin. And it's about this. Historically, September has been the worst month for Bitcoin. Even the 4 green Septembers have never gone over 8%. Now, this is something worth noting in terms, if you are out there trading with me, I'm out there sending it like a psychopath. Now, looking at this upcoming September, it is greatly dominated by downside, greatly covered by downside here. So this actually, as a trader, I get a little bit excited, admittedly, seeing the likelihood of some chopping, some ranging from this. And you know what? Ghost Month has a little bit of a tune to it. So I like it. This is my guy, Follis. I like this guy at Follis on Twitter. Very, very good trading account. Also very funny. Now with that washout, you had nearly $1 billion in liquidations from that, course of 24 hours. A lot of pain, a lot of people over leveraged. I've heard the old, I keep a stop loss. I'm a manual stop loss guy. I'll click the button. That never seems to work. Like being a manual stop loss kind of guy during pullbacks, such as the one that we saw this weekend. And these pullbacks happen all the time out there trading, having just a general risk to reward ratio already understood before you get into those things. Very, very important. So you don't end up part of the green fields of $1 billion liquidations. Now, with all this, the movement on Bitcoin, Saylor's out here top blasting, folks. He has accomplished 3% of the supply, which is absolutely insane. Michael Saylor is sitting on 3% of all Bitcoin. And he acquired 3,000 Bitcoin for nearly $357 million at an average price of $115,829, and has achieved that Bitcoin yield of 25.4% year to date. So they are stacking in a hodl 632K Bitcoin. Absolutely nuts. And their average price right at around $73,500 right now. So, I'm sure to Michael Saylor, he sees the charts doing that. He doesn't give a damn. Michael Saylor is, or not even orange pilled isn't the right word. He's like gold pilled. Michael Saylor does not. And you know what, Sack Nasty? You're never getting a giraffe. In fact,
you are banned.
You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. You ain't getting my giraffe from me. Jeffrey made it to the new studio. He's my homie. He's my homie. Now, we got to get into the rest of the news, folks. We got to get into the rest of the news. There's so much more to cover. And I think Isaac will be popping in here in a minute. He's in between studios. We have him moving materials around because I want to get up and going fully in here very, very quickly with the whole team. Now, let's take a look at what's the big deal with Gemini. Okay, what's the big deal with XRP? Why are people celebrating in the streets over this potential MasterCard type partnership? Well, here it is. Here's the big, they're blowing their load, folks. The Gemini credit card, XRP edition. Pay with money, earn extra rewards back on your purchases. You get 4% in XRP back on gas, charging and ride shares, 3% XRP back on dining, 2% XRP for groceries, and 1% XRP on everything else. Available today, limited edition, US only, apply now. This is incredible. You can go in there and you can get a card from MasterCard connected to a exchange which already existed, and the card for this exchange already existed, but then it has an XRP logo on it, and you can earn 2 or 3 XRP on your purchase. So honestly, cataclysmic real world adoption, probably going to send XRP to triple digits because people are going to FOMO. They're going to FOMO for those XRP back rewards through MasterCard. I mean, it's going to blow our hair back. They're advertising it in the streets, folks. It's coming. 825, that's today. What happened to XRP's price? Did this send us to Valhalla? No, this did not send us to Valhalla. This is at $2.95, down 2.5% on the day, just like the rest of the markets here. Fibonacci's and Quack's got the Bitcoin edition. That's probably the better bet there. If you're asking me, do I want to earn back XRP or do I want to earn back Bitcoin? I want to earn Bitcoin. You know what I mean? I want to earn Bitcoin. I absolutely do. Now, in terms of XRP, I think it's got upside still. It's not the fact that it doesn't have upside, but you know what? We see some institutions, some banking infrastructure kind of choosing other routes here, and that's in our next set of stories. Check out the XRP MasterCard details, yada, yada, yada. So all these people super excited that they can purchase things and earn XRP back. Honestly, this already existed. I don't think XRP, rewards existed. Bitcoin rewards existed. And honestly, I'd prefer to get Bitcoin over XRP for my cashback rewards. That's just me personally. Am I crazy? Let me know down in the comments. The XRP card will get you some nasty. Okay, you, sir.
You are banned.
Nice. It's Monday morning. You guys coming at me like this? I made you fish tacos. This is how you do me? Now let's look at the other big news. Right? This is Chris Barrett of Chainlink talking about SBI Group and Chainlink announced a strategic partnership to accelerate their institutional digital asset adoption in key global markets. This is initiatives, not just with one bank, but a industry-wide initiative to accelerate the institutional digital asset adoption. Now, SBI Group and Chainlink powering the use cases related to tokenized real-world assets, funds, and regulated stablecoins with an initial focus in Japanese markets. So they're aiming on a particular market in and of itself, and you know what? This makes beautiful sense to me. If I'm looking at the stress financially that the Japanese economy is under right now, crypto goes and fixes things. And I think, you know what? Japan's economy has a lot of fixing to do. So it makes sense that Chainlink would work with SBI Group on moving into the Japanese market in their largest financial conglomerates, first and foremost, with USD equivalents of $200 billion in assets. They're not going in there with a tiny chunk of change. And Chainlink, that industry standard Oracle platform, announced today a strategic partnership focusing on accelerating these adoptions across global markets. Very, very, very bullish. Now, I want to see if what it focuses on the number of key use cases for financial institutions in the APAC region, including cross-chain tokenizing real-world assets like real estate and bonds, utilizing that CCIP cross-chain interoperability protocol of Chainlink to enable those transactions to actually happen securely and privately, and have that Chainlink smart data feed involved with it, as well as the proof of reserves. There are many, many aspects of this new way banks are wanting to move money around that are being set up in the background here, while everyone's sitting here fighting over, whatever political thing has got all of everyone's attention every Monday, the Trump crash outs. This is happening in the background. So, Chainlink, it's probably $24, $25 right now, but I feel very, very comfortable with Bitcoin and Chainlink. Everything else in crypto is, in my opinion, heavy speculation. When I talk about Chainlink and Bitcoin, these are two systems that are different. Bitcoin is a proof of value, proof of work, store of value, peer-to-peer transaction, right? It's an old system. It's the groundwork of which this new economy is being built upon. Chainlink is the interminglings, the transportation from one spot to the next, and Ethereum and layer ones are those utilities, the smart contracts, the locations where that data is flowing to and from. So if you think about it that way, it's a pretty interesting dynamic. It kind of changes your perspective on, what is possible to be built out in crypto, what is possible to see with crypto and these private companies over the next 10 years. And honestly, that's why I speculate, is because these are all disruptive technologies that have the potential to absolutely moonshot. And honestly, they've been going great for me ever since I bought the dip on flu season, right? I have not had any complaints about doing that. So, and let me know how long you've been in crypto. Just give me the years. How many years have you guys been in crypto? Because I want to know kind of the levels, like that, how long someone's been in crypto will generally give you roundabout their average entry. But something very special shined about Chainlink to me years and years ago. And now it's starting to come to fruition with this SBI initiative and this highlight from AIXBT on this. So SBI holds 9% of Ripple equity. Okay, so they are an equity holder of Ripple and XRP bags. They hold bags of XRP, but they decide to choose Chainlink for the actual payment rails. 19 White House officials hold 2.35 million combined after CTO confirmed, zero value accrual, 3-layer extraction. Ripple sells to institutions who sell to believers who sell to nobody. This is the way things are going, folks. And you know what? Even with that bearish reality of what's being done in the background with XRP, it's still got a unit bias. XRP still has unit bias going for it. Look at this. It is the number 3 crypto project out here. It is only $2.90. New people to crypto, they don't look at market cap. They don't look at volume. They don't look at any of this stuff. What they look at is the price and the ranking, and then the percentage up or down. Okay, so when I see, the lack of general interest, we're at a 50 in fear and greed. We're not even in the altcoin season index right now. We're seeing ETFs for American-made companies rolled out. Honestly, the unit bias is going to probably help propel XRP, but I actually do think that XRP is probably going to get kicked down a couple levels. I don't think XRP is going to be able to hold on to this number 3 position. Call me crazy. Let me know if you disagree with me in the comments, but I actually don't think that XRP is going to be able to outpace the likes of, say, BNB or Solana. I think Solana and BNB are extremely strong competitors. They have, when they have their moment, my God, it is dangerous. What is it? Sack Nasty. Oh man. Where's Isaac? Love you, Sack. And I'm never going to stop saying per unit. I'm not going to do it. Now, this is crazy. Speaking of units, this guy's an absolute unit. A Bitcoin whale sold 24,000 units of Bitcoin worth over $2.7 billion, causing that crash, down $4,000 in minutes. But some good context here highlighted by Rand. This whale just changed the September crypto thesis. He didn't exit the market. He rotated into Ethereum and then staked it. So very, very interesting movements here. A big bag of Bitcoin getting sold off and then moving into Ethereum. Now, Ethereum's general graph, I mean, obviously, we start here with the Bitcoin dominance, right? You can see Bitcoin dominance is falling. That's great. But Ethereum's graph has a very, very bullish setup, in my opinion. Ethereum broke out of this glass ceiling that Hillary Clinton was telling us about. And she tried to warn us, folks, but that was the glass ceiling. We blasted up and above it, and we actually came back down and proved it as support in a very violent fashion. Now, what I see for Ethereum, I want to look at the weekly time frame. So we are just barely peeking our head into that green money flow. We do have the headwind of a red dot initially. Historically, you do have these where you start to peek your head into the green on money flow, and you have that red initial cool down signal. Let's see what it looked like. The last time we had that red weekly calm down signal, it only lasted 1 week, and honestly, the price remained flat. So where I'm at with this is seeing a healthy retrace on Ethereum. The money flow is just barely peeking its head into the green. And I do believe that we're ready to actually start, if we have to reprove this as support, fine. But I think Ethereum is ready for price exploration, folks. New highs, new price explorations that people are not even ready for. They don't want to believe that Ethereum can possibly come back. Oh, how could it be? We have all these new layer ones, all these cool little toys that we wanted to institute. Meanwhile, Ethereum is where the vast majority of actual stable coin inflows are going through. A vast majority of where real world assets are going through. And as you can see from this post from Rand, the vast majority of staking. So it's still the king in many, many respects outside of Bitcoin and the ground of which Bitcoin is built for us to build upon here. Now, Bitmine, Charlie, or I think it's Tommy Lee. I want to call him Charlie Lee, added 190,000 Ethereum last week, bringing his holdings to 1.7 million Ethereum worth $8.8 billion. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Having nearly 2 million Ethereum. Isaac, no, he's not left for basic trading yet. He actually should be right around the corner here. I got him texting me. So shout out to Isaac. He's running all over the town for me. And you know what? We're going to have to go get some food maybe. I mean, City Barbecue. I don't know if you guys are fans of City Barbecue or barbecue in general, but when you find a good barbecue place, put a ring on it. Put a ring on it. All right. Now, other big news in alts. Canary Capital files for an American-made crypto ETF. This is going to hold coins that are developed, mined, and operated within the United States. Something packaged like this is likely to attract some very, very good interest, in my opinion. I think that Trump's America crypto-first approach is going to play into investors' decisions. I think an American-made crypto ETF, very, very bullish. And this is likely to include some of the larger market cap projects that are American. You have, indeed, XRP is on the list of American-made crypto firms. Then you have Solana out of San Francisco, right? Curious on Dogecoin. I wonder what they would deem Dogecoin as. Cardano also kind of IOHK and those Hong Kong offices. This is up in the air. Wyoming kind of just stepped right over Cardano for that stablecoin rollout, which was kind of shocking to me, honestly. Chainlink is American made, though. And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Stellar is. I know SWI is included in that. So these are things to watch out for. Let's see here. Yes, ADA. You think ADA? Wispy, you think ADA will be included? I want ADA to be included. I know that it's like right on the edge, and they flop back and forth on considering them in or out of the club there. I do indeed hope that they get included in that club because Charles is based out of Wyoming and Colorado. That's about as American as it gets there. Now, Grayscale has come out and filed for their own Avalanche ETF. Avalanche was trying to take off on us. Last week, Avalanche was trying to take off on us. Right now, got some bearish headwinds, but honestly, the design of Avalanche's graph on the weekly, quite similar to Ethereum. It has not printed that red cool-off dot yet. Same deal on the weekly time frame, though. You can see the money flow barely peeking its head into the green, but it is coming back down, and something more than likely is to have to prove its support zone in the midpoint of this W pattern, which, by God, if this week's downturn can be all we see out of the downturn, we have that test right now. We are, like I said, we're not out of the woodwork. We're not out of the woodwork on pullbacks right now, but AVAX coming back down to that midpoint of the W pattern for a proving point, something that I say over and over again on charts, and it ends up playing out over and over again, is going on right now, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And they got some good things going for them. Toyota's movement with AVAX, and now ETF applications that are specified for the project. Let's see here. Oh, his company's overseas. Can't have it both ways. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's looking like, isn't it, Steve-O? It's it's IOHK, I believe, was Hong Kong, or is overseas, is based out of the US. Charles here in the US. That's the whole battle. Is it developed and created in the United States? And I don't think that they're going to be, it doesn't seem like it's being included in that, really. It's kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. Oh, that's some good stuff. Right? How high do you think Marinade will go? Let's check it out. When we get to the Solana stuff, we'll check out Marinade. Let's see here. Go to the next stuff. Oh, yeah. Now, and this is kind of part of the Ethereum conversation, right? When I say, people, they fade and disbelieve things just because price is down, not because fundamentals are there. The fundamentals on Ethereum and stablecoins has been quite clear, and we've been saying it, I think, maybe every show, is that stablecoins are turning into the top buyer of US treasuries. Stablecoins and the crypto ecosystem is turning into one of the main crutches that the current fiat system is using to keep itself walking down the street with. Now, here's a good visual representation of just that. These are holders of US treasuries and stablecoins versus foreign top holders. Now, let's open this in a new tab so we can get a little bit of a zoomed in view here. So you have Japan is still the leading holder of US debt, right? Right behind it, United Kingdom, coming in at 800 billion. And then China. So these are really large nations with a long history of buying US debt. Now we have stable coins, just took over Saudi Arabia in terms of being a holder of US debt, right behind Norway, Brazil, India, and Singapore, and then Hong Kong. But we are seeing a slow rise. Honestly, I wouldn't call it a slow, an unexpected, gradual, and certain rise in stable coins backing the current US fiat system. It's something that makes crypto definitely here to stay. But as far as the ethos and holding up the system that Bitcoin was built to overcome, leaves you to ask yourself, if is it a good or a bad thing to see this happening right now. Circle is solid. Oh God, we topped out. Damn it, Renee. I was hoping to have a bull market, man. Let's go check it out. Did we top? Are we over with? Are we cooked, chat? One's in the chat. We got to pour some liquor out for the bull run of yesteryear here. Now let's go to the daily. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, this is over with, man. I mean, it is just, I am cooked. I am so pissed that I bought Bitcoin. Where did I buy Bitcoin? Right there. I am fucking angry about that buy. And I'm angry about this buy. I'm angry about this. I'm angry about all these buys, I'm going to zero, adding a zero. Much love to you, Renee, though. I'm glad that you're in crypto. Regardless, my man, regardless. Now, let's see here. These are some words of wisdom from DeFi Investor. Ethereum leads in institutional adoption, but this is something that's got to be taken note of. Solana does lead, in my opinion, in retail adoption. I completely agree with this. You don't have to pick one and become a maxi. Both projects can win at once. And you can see the larger crypto ecosystem rise without having to demand the death of everything else around you, right? It is possible. And really what I showed you guys on stable coins, buying US federal debt, there's a reason why this system is basically cornered into accepting crypto and Bitcoin. It's because the design of fiat and debt is starting to break apart. Graphane God is dead. Yo, I'm going to call Isaac and I'm going to rename Isaac in my phone as Graphane God real quick. Hold on. Graphane God. Okay. We're renaming Isaac. He is now formerly known as Isaac, now known as Graphane God. Now, this from the US Treasury. Now, we covered the $4 billion buy. Pretty big deal. Pretty unprecedented levels of singular buys of US debt being bought up by the literal government itself, right? They bought up another $2 billion of their own debt. And that's a total of $6 billion just in the last week. A pretty unprecedented move while this is all happening. Oh, there's a Kelly. There's a wild Kelly. Yeah, it's great in here, right? I love it. So this is for per token terminal. The BlackRock organization Okay, and I'm not gonna. You guys get me going on Larry Fink all the time in his very minuscule hat selection. Okay, BlackRock now leads tokenized funds with a $2.4 billion BUIDL fund. This is tokenized treasuries that are built to bolster the very system that I'm highlighting is breaking and having to buy up its own blood so it doesn't spill all over the streets. BlackRock is building this out. The internal system is going to keep moving, and it's going to enslave stable coins and crypto liquidity to keep the system running to a degree, right? And now we have a big week in terms of earnings reports. We have a big week in terms of macroeconomic data that's going to be being released this week. So just be careful if you're out there trading. Stop losses are your friend, right? It's going to be probably pretty volatile. Crypto Night official, are you in a short? Are you going short? Are we going short right now? Let me know in the chat. But some unprecedented things are happening in Wall Street right now that you have to check out. Earnings of the Magnificent Seven. The companies these Magnificent Seven make up have surged by 145% since ChatGPT was introduced in November of 22. By comparison, profits of the remaining 493 S&P 500 firms have increased just 4% over the same period. This is a massive overtaking of Magnificent Sevens, the Mag 7, the elephant in the room that walks this entire industry down the road. The skeleton of an elephant that used to hold up the system is now absolutely demanding all of that attention, all of that capital flow, and the growth. Mag 7 EPS has risen 700% since 2020, while the remaining components of the S&P 500 have seen 31% EPS growth. That marks 22 times higher earnings in just 5.5 years. Absolutely incredible outperformance from the Mag 7 since the inception of ChatGPT. Right here, Mag 7 have leaned into it, and they are lean and mean fight machines. Over the last decade, the Mag 7 has seen massive 2,100% growth in earnings. So this is historical. This is a change to the literal way that markets look, the change to, the revenue that companies can make. All of these things are changing right before our eyes, and it's up to us to take advantage of it, right? Because right now, we are in kind of weird times. So the US stock market has hit the most expensive valuation in its history, surpassing the dot-com bubble and the run-up to the Great Depression. This is the U.S. stock valuations over the course of the entire time frame. We are hitting hyper speculation mode right now. There is no denying that. Here's 2020 and 2021 with that way overextended market, right? We are even higher than we were digging ourselves out of a total economic shutdown in 2020. And, there's going to be chaos. There will be chaos. But on top of that chaos is going to be extreme winning. There's going to be new industries that pop up. One of those industries that seems very, very solid, not at just AI, but nuclear power. But you know what? NVIDIA has got its earnings coming out. NVIDIA, the world's most valuable company, is going to have its earnings report come out this week. Very, very important to watch. And now some things kind of foreshadowing this event this week that's coming up is this. The NVIDIA stock dumped last week on the news that they had to halt H20 chips and the production of it. So actually, let's go check out NVIDIA on the stock, because this is actually a chart we should probably be paying attention to over the course of this week. We have those earnings reports coming out. Are we cooked? Is it over? We need to know. Let's go here. So NVIDIA, this is the pullback of the H20 chip. Honestly, a pullback for ants. What is this? Like 4%? What is this? It's a decent one, 7.7%. Since then, completely regained, right? Took it 2 or 3 days, and we have completely regained footing. We're now heading into those earnings reports. We see that the Magnificent Seven, these major companies, they're surging because they're utilizing AI. And within that, NVIDIA is kind of the golden gem within this. It produces all the chips that everyone needs to actually run the AI, some of the hardware. So this is something that it's changing what's possible for companies. It's changing the data that it's possible to look at on these historic US stock valuations. if we see America lean into the AI race and win, we are going to break this speculation. I mean, I don't even like, what can you go above 100? Like, we're going to be in hyperinflationary, hyper speculatory mode. That is my opinion. We're going to roll out a new deal within America, print trillions of dollars. Companies like Nvidia, companies like Palantir, they're going to cook. They're going to cook to the upside. One other one on Wall Street that I do actually want to check the pricing of right now is Coin and Circle. Let's check out Coinbase Global. It's actually found a kind of a home right here at $300. Might be looking for that pump, and you know what? It's probably going to go up here and fill this 340. Probably going to fill that 340 spot. I'll bet you if I'm a betting man, that's what's coming for that. And then we got to go check out, of course, Circle, the future CBDC group. Let's see here. So they've fallen below. They are pulling back hard. We might actually be able to get a good deal on this. Honestly, $100 is not, we're only $20 away from that. So actually, looking at this week, I might be putting my tether on winning the trades into some circle stock. That actually looks like a pretty darn good spot right here at about $100. I'll bet you, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that $100 mark holds. I'm betting that $100 mark holds. So I got to clear out all these other tabs so I can get to the other stuff here, because I got so much information. It'll make your head explode and make you smarter than everyone in the lunchroom. You'll be telling Susie Q, get out of my face, Susie Q. You don't know what's going on in the world. President Trump is nationalizing Intel Corporation. President Trump said he paid $0 for the U.S. government's 10% stake in Intel, and that he will make deals like that for the U.S. So more deals to come from governments taking stake in private companies. Okay, sounds kind of weird. God bless you. God bless you. So here's Trump's Truth Social tweet. Page 0. I'm the best. It's going to be huge. We're going to have many more. Why are stupid people unhappy with that? I'll make deals like this for my country all day long. So that's an interesting precedent, though. Hammurabi, bringing some words on this. Precedent for further governance of private companies through shareholding with voting rights, right? So the U.S. leadership appears to be taking a CCP-style approach to the financial system and the shift taking place right now. Project Crypto and recent developments in legislation around financial systems do not come without massive risks. Again, this must be repeated. Treasuries marrying and enslaving stable coins to make sure fiat can continue kicking down the road for another 50 years, in my opinion, dooms us to fall with the system when it happens. A great example is 1890 to 1910. Now, this is the American financial crisis, really hit its peak in 1895. And this American financial crisis is essentially what set the groundwork for the creation of what we know now as the Federal Reserve, a private organization in control of our money supply that has the name federal, but it's private, and has the name reserve in it, but it has no reserves. And that's the reality we live in right now. This is probably a safety net system given to uncertainty around socioeconomies around the world, and especially in the United States, aka stagflation, aka an overextending of globalist trade initiatives that have fallen apart. Trust between nations has fallen apart. War has broken out, and the globalist agenda is deteriorating before their eyes. I would expect this to extend to other critical U.S. tech and infrastructure companies in the coming weeks there. So very, very key things to kind of keep in mind, right? It's like, okay, you're buying 10% of a private company. Like what? And what money did they use to do this? Did they just give 10% over? Did you use my tax dollars? Did you use my money to go do this deal with? Where in the hell did the money come from for that 10% stake? Did they seize it, right? They have no problem seizing stuff and holding on to it. Truly sovereign currencies. What do we got? We got Vchain. I heard Vchain was pumping. I heard Vchain was coming. You know what? Let's go back to the crypto altcoin market and let's go check out what's pumpy. Go check out what's pumpy, bro. Right? All right. So we got BitTorrent. Hyperliquid in the mid 40s. That's a good sign. Hyperliquid in mid 40s, showing a lot of strength here. Kronos token. Let's see. And then Tether is a big winner. That's now we're in trouble here. Now we're in a problem here. Athena with a pullback. Now red on the week, just barely at $1. No, this is the stablecoin. Jesus. Okay. That doesn't make any sense. Morpho still slightly up. I mean, a little bit. It's only up like 28% on the week. It's no big deal. You know, I put out a Morpho video on our blockchain basement YouTube account as well. If you guys want to learn more about Morpho, why you're going to see it climb the ranks, what the hell is going on, please do yourselves a favor. Go on over to blockchain basement, go here, go to videos, click this video, watch the video. I explain in detail why Morpho is positioned at the winner's table. Really feel good about that Morpho bag. It's grown into essentially competing with my Aerodrome bag now. And I'm quite pleased with it. I've been buying it with funds that I've won trading Bitcoin quite effectively. And, you know, the constant angle for me, I come to work, I figure out how I'm going to make a percent up to 3% every single week in Bitcoin, right? That is my goal. And why I Bitcoin is a grounded in physics concept, right? I feel that both Bitcoin and gold are assets grounded in physics that cannot be shaken. Yes, they can be manipulated to a degree, but they cannot be shaken or destroyed by governments as they spiral downhill. This is why we see gold going to all-time highs. This is why we see Bitcoin going to all-time highs. This is why we see every single useful commodity, hard-sided good, go into the freaking moon, because they are printing your dollar into nothing. We are in stagflation, and they're not going to admit it for a few years for political reasons to make the regime look better. All the while nationalizing and buying out companies to hoist up a skeleton market. Now, this is a great video here. This is why I Bitcoin, folks. This is why I Bitcoin. Let's have a listen to this.
Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
So, you know, our vaults are I think our vaults are actually empty. I think our vaults are already empty. Prove me wrong. Give me the gold reserve audit. Give me the gold reserve audit. There is no reason why the government, with all of these financial woes and having to use the treasury to do billions of dollars of buybacks on treasury bonds week over week in unprecedented manner, by the way, why would a government leave its gold balance at $8 billion on the books instead of rising it to the current selling price of gold at $3,400 a unit, and the on the book value would then rise to $800 billion? Why in the world would a government do that unless they didn't have it and they didn't want to admit they didn't have it? Why? I mean, make sense of it. Make it make sense. Now, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell really shook up the markets last week, folks. It was a little bit crazy. Really watching this, Jerome Powell has now kind of moved the needle here. He's adopted a new framework that removes the reference for central banks wanting to see that average 2% inflation over time. Now, it can be argued why in the hell they would target for any degree of inflation when you target for negative inflation or 0% inflation, but really the system is built upon debt and the expansion of that debt. And you know what? Seeing them take their off the ball, they're having to go like this. Oh, I don't see anything. So they can lower interest rates. And then the inflation is going to be there in a very, very real way in a year or two from now. And that's when they're going to admit stagflation was real. You know, in my opinion, if things keep going down the general path they are right now, we're going to see about a year maybe a year and a half of false hope in economic outlook. Okay, we're going to see a year of cooking the books to make things look better than they actually are before inflation comes raging back and they have to increase the rates once again to levels. Honestly, we're at a average house of about 450,000. Average homes in the 1970s and 80s were much, much cheaper. So if we do see a repeat of the 70s to 80s interest rate movement, that is going to be a nail in the coffin for any young person out there that has hopes and dreams of buying a new home. And now more people than any out there buying new homes by a huge degree are people that already own homes, right? It's people that are adding to their portfolio. It's people that are, already built into mortgage programs. It's not the new buyers, man. The new buyers are being lost. And really, it hurts my heart because it takes out that outlook for family, for all that drive that we feel to succeed every single day and do the best that we can for our family. And I think that's an important ingredient to any successful person here. And Marjorie Taylor Greene comes with the fire. If you're waiting until you have it all organized and perfect to have children, you are wasting time. Go ahead and start your family while you're young, and God will give you the perfect provisions and organize everything that you need. Plus, being a parent is the most incredible and fulfilling thing you can ever do in your life. Now, I completely agree with this. Yes, my children, they're a lot of work, right? But you know what? When I had my son in here yesterday helping me plug things in, my son thinks I'm the coolest person on the planet, and nothing feels better than that. Nothing feels better than my son thinking I'm a superhero for him. So other events this week that we will have to watch out for in terms of trading, where the money could be sloshing to and from. We have July new home sales data breaking today. We have August consumer confidence data coming out tomorrow. NVIDIA's earnings report hits on Wednesday. The U.S. Q2 2025 GDP data hits us Thursday. And then the MI consumer sentiment Friday and July PCE data on Friday as well. So this is going to be a huge week. This is really going to set the tone for markets. I'm still bullish. I'm long in dips. That's my general thesis. I'm long in dips. If you want to get in there with me and you want to catch those dips that I'm long in, just like the nasty catch that I had this morning, you got to click the link in our description for our Discord. Go in there and verify yourself. And honestly, it's a great place. Another, I talk about the trading aspect of our Discord, but having a community of people that actually give a damn about each other, I think matters so much, especially in this market where you have so many different data points, so many different skewed opinions. Having a place where we can all kind of get together, be based, talk about what we're seeing on the outlook, because we're all in it for the same thing, to change the financial future of our families' lives forever. That is the goal here. It's not some short-lived, trip in a Lamborghini you rent out on the beach to take some selfies. It's about building a legacy, leaving good humans that are cared for and know how to care for others behind when you leave. You're not going to be here forever. You can't take your Bitcoin with you, but what you can leave behind is a legacy that makes this world a better place, folks. This is what I'm all about. Now, I do see some things potentially coming here to Georgia. Pretty crazy, and credit's got to be given where it is due, folks.
This morning, we've learned Georgia National Guard troops are getting ready to help federal immigration agents. The State Department of Defense says they were asked to provide support to ICE agents and are right now in the early stages of staffing that request. The department says using Georgia's military personnel would enable ICE to dedicate more trained agents to core law enforcement activities. The Georgia Department of Defense said the department has a long history of partnering with federal, state, and local agencies to ensure the safety and security of our communities.
Bullish on Georgia, bullish based. You know what? Understanding the economic outlook of a country by also understanding how many citizens you have within it and how many services are going to be required is quite a reasonable thing to do. And if anyone has a problem with that, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? If you complain about the financial doom and gloom of the American hegemony of the dynasty of America coming to an end, but you want to keep your eyes closed to how many social service checks are going out there for a bunch of undocumented immigrants, I don't know what to tell you, right? It's a touchy subject for whatever reason, but it is what it is. Philip, you can't join ICE still. Well, shout out to you, man. You know what? You can still support. You can still support. God, what do we have? We have our 6.5% rate on a house. I'm going to be buying a house at about a 6.5%. It is what it is. And honestly, you guys, like if stagflation is admitted over the next year and a half, 6% interest rate on a house is going to be a deal. Okay. If they admit to the Mexican standoff in our housing industry, the lack of buyers, the immense amount of inventory that's out there, the fact that they're using our tax dollars to keep even more inventory off of the market of a $120 trillion market, things can get very, very ugly very, very quick. So where we're at right now, this environment might not be that bad, 6% interest. If what I see coming continues to happen and we see the rise of inflation once again, it is what it is. Yes, this is an Atlanta shirt. ATL, man. I'm out here in Georgia. Now, Trump also signed an executive orders today. He's going after mandating those who desecrate the American flag, including burning it, to face prosecution. The American flag, most sacred and cherished symbol of the United States of America. Desecrating it is uniquely and inherently offensive and provocative. And there ain't no lie with that. You know, there ain't no lie. I mean, this country was founded on right-wing violence, and you're lucky you haven't seen it resurge, especially with the amount of flag burning that we've seen. I am happy with this, you know, but on the other hand, you wonder where this leads. You wonder where it leads. Government interest in private companies, government confiscation of Bitcoin en masse to build out a reserve. How far does the controlling arm of the police state really reach? And you know what? History tells me that it reaches pretty far and pretty deep, which makes me an observer from the outside looking in, be like, you know what? I don't quite trust this. I don't quite trust banks. I don't quite trust the dollar that America uses. I trust Bitcoin. I leave my finances on an Arculus cold storage wallet. Use code DC20, get 20% off your own Arculus cold storage. And I'm my own bank. I don't have to wait around and hope that some bank is willing to give me my money should the narrative change. Now, Switzerland and the post office out there is now suspending shipments of the U.S. goods beginning tomorrow, August 26th. This is due to tariffs. Kind of a weird take, shutting down shipments of U.S. goods out of the post office. We're going to see more of this. We're going to see a little bit of shock and awe. We're going to see hurt feelings. We're going to see the breaking of what the system was used to in terms of global trade as America leans into these tariffs. Trustless. What about trust in Ripple? I don't trust Ripple. You know what? I don't even trust Ripple as far as I could throw him, because I could throw him probably pretty far. I don't even trust him that far. I don't trust, you know, there is no trust. There is no trust in Ripple. I think that that's going to continue to dump on people. But it will have a degree of unit bias, as I said. Now, I do want to go check out those other runners today. I saw people were celebrating in the streets about Vchain. Is Vchain alive finally? I haven't heard about this damn thing in forever. Let's see here. What is this? What are you talking about? This looks horrible still. 1 month, you're still down. Jesus. You're up by 0.09 on the entire year. What is going on? What are people celebrating? Okay, there's nothing here. There is nothing there. Let's go look for some other hope. VJ, this, yeah, I mean, it does not look good. I know some people like buying whack-looking charts. Oh, what if it goes up to all-time highs again? You know, it's a different playground. It's a different field, bro. It's a different field. You know, stable coins, real-world assets, AI that's useful. You know, proof of work projects. If America, I like this comment. This is what we're talking about. If America still made anything, here we go. If America still made anything, I might be concerned about other countries halting our exports. Yeah, I mean, America still has the raw materials to make quite a bit of things. And a lot of people forget how quickly this country was able to start up its industrial manufacturing to overabundance during World War II. It's just, you have to have that push. You have to have that socioeconomic push to get that ball rolling. And really what we see right now, this posturing, this competition with China, is setting up that general movement. We're basically at the point where if we don't roll out $20 trillion worth of nuclear power and data centers, then we will lose to China in the AI race of a century, right? And that is something that the Department of Defense doesn't want. That is something that some of the most powerful entities in the United States are not looking to see happen. So, you know, if I'm a betting man, they're going to put their foot on the printer and essentially do the New Deal, regardless of the long-term financial repercussions. Now, let's see who's the other winners here. I know you. What was it? Algorand. Someone brought up Algorand to me this morning. It's like, oh, it's doing good. It's doing good. This thing is 25 cents. Jesus, this is not good. I don't understand what is going on here. Where is the celebration coming from? Like, is it? Did they pay you to be happy? You know, like, I'm really looking for it. I'm not seeing it there. I'm not seeing it there. I'm not seeing any love. And really, you know, that's kind of cause for concern because they're pretty old. They're well built in projects. You would start to see some movement here, right? I mean, a lot of the projects that we've been picking on, some of the new news, you know, I mean, look a lot different. This is where upside can be found. Even Chainlink, even Avalanche, you know, there's some good movements within this. Chainlink down to $24.40, but I'm feeling Gucci above $20. I feel great. Let's see here. Oh, do we got to go look at Black? I want to go look at Black token. My dad's going to be mad at me for that XRP round. I'm sorry, but I had to do it. All right, 32 cents. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still iffy about this one. My buddy Matt's got me very on the fence about it. I think the DeFi has been good on it, but you know, as far as speculating. Oh, and let's also go look at Marinade. Let's go look at Marinade. This is a sneaky little staking mechanism within Solana. So on the day, we're down 4%, up 7% on the week, 9% on the month, 12%. God, very, very flat on the year. What is this? Yeah, Dad's gonna be pissed. He loves him. You know what? But now he's okay. I can't even go into this. The battle between XRP and Chainlink is real. It's very personal. Okay. Chainlink versus XRP to the gauntlet, bro. Who wins? The XRP army or the Chainlink Greens? Let him know. Now, Marinade, this is a very small market cap, high risk, high reward type situation. But if I see Solana staking get approved at the later part of this year, then you know, Marinade could be a very, very explosive, sneaky Solana ecosystem play that really starts. Why not own both? I do own both. You know, I can flood both too. I can FUD them both too. And that's the beauty of it. You know, if you don't have the ability to FUD your own bags, to question even the things that you own and that you believe in, are you even doing it right? Mantle, let's go check out Mantle. Mantle has been a good DeFi mover as well. I know last week was very bullish for Mantle. Let's check it out here. So we got the all-time graph. A little bit of lower highs being built out here. Let's see. Get a little bit larger time frame. Very, very. I mean, this kind of looks like Ethereum. All right. I mean, like, you know, it looks like there's going to be an ability to defend for the bulls on Mantle at about this dollar mark. It looks like the good ability to defend for Mantle is on the dollar mark here. So this is a very aggressive move to the upside. You're probably going to run into a little bit of a price reset. This is on the weekly time frame. Let's go to the daily. Check this out. You know, Mantle is a good chunk of DeFi. There's DeFi happening on Mantle. It's like Mantle, Pendle, you know, right around $1. I could entertain potentially getting some. I'm honestly kind of very, very greedy about my entry points though. So at this point, I just kind of want to cheer from the sidelines on Mantle. It's already at a $3.8 billion market cap, you know. XRP punching air right now, watching Link pumping. Is Chainlink pumping? I don't feel like we're pumping too much though. I mean, this is for a pump for ants. You know, really what I'm going to be doing on this after the show, you know, I'm going to be setting up the rest of the studio, doing some adjustments to the studio, kind of fine tuning here. But we are coming back down on Bitcoin actually here. So check this out. So Bitcoin is coming back down, and honestly, like, it's on the 15-minute time frame. Again, I feel like I just feel like trading Ethereum, maybe even Chainlink. Maybe I pull off that trade on Chainlink. Well, after this, I'm going to hop into the Discord, start snooping out a good Chainlink entry point. Because honestly, I feel the juice. I feel it. Everyone's out there saying the top's in, it's over with. And that's what I needed to hear to know that we were going higher. I love and appreciate every single one out there in the chat. Make sure to repost the show. Make sure to make it known that we are out here sending it every single day, bringing you the latest and greatest information out there on Discover Crypto. And with that being said,
we just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.